Kelsey is a 17-year-old transgender woman who is full of vigor and zeal. She resides in Pittsburgh with her mother, who is very open and accepting of Kelsey's orientation, and they both share a friend-like bond. But like all moms of the world, Selene still embarrasses Kelsey with her over-friendly extra cool mom talk. Kelsey loves animals, and so, she has a thing where she relates every person in her life to an animal. Her friends Chris and Em come over to her house on the first day of school, and they all try on dresses together. She calls Chris a howler monkey because Chris is all about chaos, and Em is more like a panther chameleon, because once she has her mind set on something, you can't do anything to change it. The scene changes to her friend Call's house. In the voiceover, Kelsey talks about meerkats, who survive by keeping their family close, and we see Call with his mom, dad, and younger brother Arwen, who's being made fun of for his funky hairstyle. Kelsey's friends tease her about finding her a boyfriend this school year, but Kelsey would be completely contented if she just survives the year, although she is a little worried about how she'll survive in the real world after senior year. In art class, the teacher assigns the class a task to make portraits of their chosen partners in their own style. Kelsey and Call pair up with each other, and it's obvious in the way Call looks at her that he is fascinated. They talk casually about the variation of pinks in the paints, and even then, the chemistry between them sparkles. When Kelsey sees the portrait Call made, she is impressed by his art. He offers her to keep it if she wants, and that makes Kelsey feel nice. She points out that he's a nice guy, but Call doesn't accept it, not wanting to fit into the nice guy stereotype. But she tells him that there's nothing wrong with being a nice guy. The two hit it off, and at the end of the class, they exchange their portraits. While walking back home, Kelsey thinks about her goal for the year. She wants to learn more than just how to survive in the real world. She wants to learn how to thrive, like the pharaoh cuttlefish. Back home from her first day, Kelsey is enthusiastically greeted by her mother, who wants to know all about her day. She has the college application starter kit spread out all over the table, and she tells Kelsey that if the girl wants to leave her mother and go to Los Angeles, or New York for 4 years, then she better get a scholarship. The only reason Kelsey wants to go away from home is because a different place would have different people, who don't know her history. She wants to go somewhere she can reestablish herself. The two get started on the applications, and the essay question is to write about a time you were brave in the face of a great difficulty. Kelsey doesn't want to play the transgender card to get into college, so her mother tells her to write about what happened with her dad, because she came out the other end stronger. Kelsey's got a secret too. She uploads videos on YouTube, where she talks about everything that she wants to talk about. It's like an open journal, where Kelsey shares her life with a small count of followers, hoping that some of her experiences end up helping someone else like her. Call, on the other hand, has a Reddit account, where he anonymously gives his opinion to whoever asks about dating and all things love and life. His best friend Otis doesn't seem to understand it. At dinner, a playful conversation about the uselessness of studying poetry turns into Call's future career discussion. His parents find out that Call wants to study something creative, and not economics, as they initially discussed. His mom asks him how his college essays are coming along, and Call gives a very lukewarm response to that. Later that night, he forces himself to work on his essay, but ends up Googling Kelsey instead. He finds her YouTube page and ends up watching one of her videos where Kelsey is talking about her transition journey. She continues to talk about her thoughts on dating. Kelsey is worried about it, not because she's transgender, but because she wonders how she will be able to tell if someone really likes her, or are they with her just to establish themselves as an ally. Anyway, so dating's a no-no for her in school. Maybe when she gets to college, where no one knows her, she can go stealth. But that also worries her, because if she can't show all of herself to someone, then how would they know her for who she really is? And seeing how her friend Chris is doing in her relationship, Kelsey isn't too eager to jump up on that wagon. The next day at school, the girls get together and Em tells them about her theory. The first Insta story is of the person they're crushing on. When Kelsey checks hers, it's Call, and she is about to tell her friends when Em jumps the line and says that she finds Call cute. This upsets Kelsey, because she also thinks Call is cute, but she chooses to not say anything. Em writes up a note for Call and asks Kelsey to give it to him, because she's shy. Not wanting to, but having no choice, Kelsey dejectedly gives the note to Call. Call is super confused about this, but when Em passes by him with a flirty hello, Otis teases Call about having a thing with Em. Later that night, Kelsey messages Call, clarifying that the note was from Em. Call thinks it was a joke, but Kelsey reassures him that she thinks he's cute too. A flirty conversation online ends up being the icebreaker for them. The next day, in art class, they get talking again. Call tells her that he hates it when people call him nice, and Kelsey hates it when people say that she's brave for transitioning at this age. She hates how she is praised for just being who she is, and Call understands her completely. When he asks what she wants to study, Kelsey says zoology. She wants to be a nature cinematographer, and that fascinates Call even more. He wonders why she loves animals so much, and Kelsey tells him that it's because they're all unique. She wants to travel the world and see everything that she can. And so, with that, Call realizes that he's done for. He writes to his anonymous friends on Reddit about the girl he's developing a huge crush on, and it's starting to drive him crazy. But, unbeknownst to him, Call isn't alone in this. Kelsa also makes a video, asking her followers if looking for someone in every crowd and checking for that person's zodiac and astrology memes is a sign of developing a huge crush. Because if so, then she's got it. But Kelsa can't even entertain that thought further, because she knows Em likes Call. And Call is afraid that he might cause a lot of drama if he asks Kelsa out. He asks the people of Reddit for advice, and the comments start pouring in. All the people who comment tell him that he should just go for the win. Call gets additional confidence when his brother, who knows all about his secret Reddit account, tells him that he should buy the girl some flowers and go for it. Gathering his courage, Call takes the step and buys the flowers. In class, when Otis sees them, he starts bugging Call about them, and not wanting to create a problem already, Call lies that they're for Em. Chris overhears this and sends a text to the girl group. Em is super elated to know this, but Kelsa, not so much. Em approaches Call later on, expecting him to ask her out and give her the flowers, but Call is awkward as a goat. He hides in the bathroom and calls his brother, asking for advice on what to do. Arwen tells him to just give the flowers to Kelsa like he planned to, but Call is worried that all girly hell will break loose if he does that now. After much contemplation, Call mans up and approaches the girls. He gives the flowers to Kelsa in front of everyone. And as suspected, all girly hell breaks loose. Em storms out of there, and Kelsa rushes to appease her. When Otis finds out that Call gave the flowers to Kelsa, he's shocked. Otis is still in the deep clenches of rooted transphobia, and Call walks away from him. A day goes by, and Call worries about Kelsa. When they finally meet at school, they talk about what happened, and while Kelsa is mad at him for asking her out in front of Em, she isn't mad at him for asking her out. The two realize they both have feelings for each other, and in spite of everything, they want a date. So Call takes her hand and leads Kelsa out in the crowd. They awkwardly part ways for class, and Otis catches Call kissing her. He asks Call if he's gay or something, because he'll totally support him, but Call is annoyed by Otis's discriminatory behavior. Instantly, they become the talk of the town. But with that, it's also safe to say that Em will no longer be borrowing Kelsa's clothes. Luckily, Kelsa still has Chris. Call and Kelsa go to the Habitat Center for a date, and talk about all things under the sun. Kelsa tells him about her broken friendship with Em, and Call tells her how he's also distancing himself from Otis, because Otis is a certified douchebag, with his mindset. Call reveals that his real name is actually Khalid, but no one can pronounce it right, so he shortened it to Call. Kelsa makes it a point to learn how to pronounce his name right, because names are what make us unique. Later, Call confesses that he knows about the video she uploads online. Kelsa is a little taken aback. Although the videos are supposed to be a secret from anyone but her mom, she still feels that they are very personal to her. She only posts about her transgender stuff online, and hopes to help someone like her, who might be in need. While heading out, they talk about their college essays, and Khalid has no idea what he's going to write about. He tells Kelsa that he doesn't want to go to college, but wants to do something creative like computer-aided drafting. The day ends, and Call drops Kelsa back home. The two part ways awkwardly, each wanting to kiss the other, but not knowing how to make a move. But then Kelsa takes a stance, and asks him if he wants to make out. Khalid responds in the affirmative, and the two finally kiss. Back home, both Khalid and Kelsa are giddy with the new love butterflies, and tell their parents that they're seeing someone. Selene is ecstatic for her daughter, and so is Khalid's mom. Over dinner, Khalid finally tells his parents that he wants to go to Pittsburgh Technical College, instead of doing a 4-year university degree, but both his parents vehemently disagree. At school, Chris corners Call in the girls' bathroom and literally threatens him with the "if you hurt my friend, I'll stab you" speech. But as much as Call doesn't need to be told that, Chris's efforts show that she's a good friend. Unlike Em, who is still being a big baby about the whole ordeal. On YouTube, Kelsa announces that she finally has a boyfriend. Not that she needed one ever, but she likes Call. And that's reason enough to date him. Kelsa thinks that as a transgender woman, she has been fixated on gender a lot, when cis people never have to think about gender before liking the person they want to like. But since she can't talk to Chris about her boy problems, cause Chris has got her own boy problems, Kelsa finds solace in sharing it with her followers. Meanwhile, Call and Otis hit a block in their friendship, and it seems to Call that maybe this one won't survive senior year. He writes to his Reddit followers that despite the Otis drama, Call is proud to be dating a transgender girl, and he's never been happier. When Kelsa overhears Em spreading baseless rumors about Chris's breakup, she confronts her. The two girls get into an argument, and Kelsa accidentally pushes Em away. Em falls down, and pretends to be more hurt than she is as she storms out of there. Kelsa tries to apologize but to no avail. One day, Khalid comes over to Kelsa's house and meets her mom. Selene is cool about meeting her daughter's boyfriend, but whips out the standard mom card when it's time for her to leave them alone in the house. She warns them that she has a lot of cameras installed, watching them everywhere. When she leaves, Khalid and Kelsa start making out like horny teenagers, but are interrupted by Chris's arrival. Chris teases Kelsa for jumping Call the second her mother left, but Call is really enjoying this. All dressed up again, he hesitantly asks Kelsa what she'd like him to do, and for the first time, Kelsa realizes that she's never thought about it at all. But Call doesn't mind her not knowing yet. The three of them walk down to a friend's house for a party, where Em is also present. Halfway into the party, Em tries to fight with Kelsa, and the girls decide to hash it out for once. While arguing, Em tells Kelsa that it's already hard being her friend given who she is, and on top of that, she chose to like the guy that Em liked first. Kelsa can't listen to this anymore, and she storms off. Call sees this and goes after her. He tries to ask her if she's okay, but Kelsa just wants to be alone. He wants to understand better, but Kelsa doesn't think he'll get her transgender stuff. Khalid wants to try to know anyway. When she asks him why he cares, he tells her that it's because he's her boyfriend. But something about that doesn't sit right with Kelsa. She doesn't need him to save her. Meanwhile, Otis, who is still salty about losing Call to Kelsa, teams up with them, and they decide to teach Kelsa a lesson. He even puts the idea in Em's mind that Kelsa might have assaulted her when they had that fight in the locker room the other day. Em complains to the principal that she doesn't feel safe around Kelsa anymore, and the next thing she knows, Kelsa is being banned from using the women's locker room and bathroom at school. Hurt, but mostly enraged by the discrimination, Kelsa makes a video ranting about her experience and posts it on her channel. Call, wanting to help Kelsa through this, posts the link to her video feed on his Reddit channel. Next morning, Kelsa wakes up to her mother's screaming. Selene is enraged by Kelsa's video, which went viral, and wants her to take it down, but it's far too late for that. This makes Selene even more upset, because she doesn't want Kelsa's personal life to be a public show. Kelsa argues that she likes posting videos online, and it's her choice to do that, but Selene is firm about her decision. She wants Kelsa to take down the channel, and until she does, her mother won't give her the computer back. Selene is only doing this to protect her daughter, but Kelsa argues that she doesn't need her protection like that. To only let her do things on Selene's terms feels like living in a cage. She doesn't need anybody's protection. Kelsa accuses Selene of trying to control her because of the fact that her dad left, and she blames her mother for overcompensating for a father figure. This is the last straw for Selene, and she orders Kelsa to take the video down, or she can't go to college. At school, Call is shocked to see two girls entering the boys' washroom and trying out the urinals. Outside, there's a whole protest going on, led by Chris, and everyone chants, "We stand with Kelsa." When Kelsa walks into this scene, she's taken aback and embarrassed. She starts walking away when Chris stops her, but Kelsa snaps at her for making a fuss out of everything. Chris feels hurt by her reaction, because she was only trying to help her, but Kelsa didn't ask her to. She runs away, and Call chases her all the way to the library, where the two of them have a full confrontation argument. Call just wants to talk to her, but Kelsa is tired of everyone wanting to save her. She accuses him that while he's going around trying to be the nice guy, he's just showing other people how morally superior he is by taking pity on the transgender girl. Kelsa doesn't want Call to help her in any way anymore. While going after Kelsa, Call gets stopped by the obnoxious Otis, who makes fun of him for dating Kelsa and also addresses Kelsa as a male. He makes a scene in front of everyone, saying that Kelsa has a mental disorder, and now maybe Call seems to have one too. The two boys fight in front of everyone, and Call punches Otis in the face. The fight is broken up by a teacher, and the boys storm off. At home, Call's parents are worried about him. They heard about the fight from the principal, and after checking his browser history, where Call searched about sex change operations, they are worried that he may be transgender. Call tells them that he isn't, but his girlfriend is. Later, when he is upset in his room about his breakup, his mother comforts him. At school, both Em and Kelsa's mothers are called to the principal's office, and Em's mother scolds Kelsa for being a bully and hurting her child. While she claims to support her self-expression and her choice to be transgender, she cannot tolerate it when someone like Kelsa tries to assault other girls, especially her daughter. Both mothers start arguing, as Em's mother starts attacking Kelsa for who she is and calls her a bully. Before things can get more out of control, Em rises to the occasion and confesses that she lied about the assault. She broke her finger on her own and tried to pin the blame on Kelsa just to get revenge, but she can't keep quiet and see her mother degrade Kelsa the way she is. She apologizes to Kelsa and leaves. When they get home, Kelsa thanks her mother for what she did today, but doesn't want her to feel like she has to protect her. Selene can't understand why Kelsa would think that. Kelsa tells her that she feels responsible for breaking up her parents' marriage because of who she is. It takes some time, but Selene makes sure that Kelsa understands that she was not the reason why her parents got divorced. And after that, if her dad chooses to stay out of her life, that is a flaw in him, not Kelsa. And that she is not hard to love because of who she is. If anything, for someone who is worthy of her, Kelsa is the easiest thing to love. Kelsa feels comforted by her words and grateful to have a mom like Selene. Later that day, Kelsa meets up with Call at the same place they had their first date, When Call arrives, he is skeptical, but then sees the flowers in Kelsa's hands and feels at ease. Kelsa apologizes to him for the way she's been, and at the same time, Call does too. The two have their patented awkward moment, and then Call, too, gives her flowers. With that, all is well in KK land. A few months pass, and the summer comes to an end as Call writes to the people of Reddit, updating them about his personal life. We then find out that Kelsa got into UCLA, and Call managed to convince his parents to let him stay home and go to Pittsburgh Technical University. They both graduate high school and spend every day of the summer together. But when all the good moments finally come to an end, at the end of the summer, Call and Kelsa have a decision to make. It's time for Kelsa to go out in the world and make a life of her own, and do everything she wanted to at the beginning of the year. She is ready for the next chapter outside of Pittsburgh. But Call will be staying back. The two come to the obvious realization that they had been avoiding all year long. They're going to have to break up. They part ways amicably. But before she goes, Call stops Kelsa and kisses her one last time. The kiss has the passion of all their kisses combined, and he asks her the one thing he still doesn't know about her favorite animal. Believe it or not, Kelsa doesn't know the answer to that yet. Call writes to the Reddit community about how his relationship with Kelsa might not have lasted long, but he is grateful to her for many things. Just as he signs off, he gets an email from Kelsa with a video link that has the answer to his question. Kelsa has started uploading videos on her YouTube channel again, and now has a much better subscriber count. Kelsa tells her viewers about her favorite animal. It's the marsh harrier, that is a daring bird in the wild. About 2 years into their lifespan, some males go under metamorphosis, change colors, and start to resemble that of a female harrier. And for that reason, the marsh harrier is Kelsa's favorite animal, because she is like that bird, who changed her feathers and soared high magnificently, just like herself.